The Portuguese word for study is estudar. If you want to study in Brazil for free, you also want to have a free monthly stipend. If you want to have a PR through the study path, then keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Mills and I'm back with another video. Okay, so today's video I'm going to be talking about how you can study in Brazil for free, as well as you can have scholarship that will cover your monthly stipend. And this is a very good pathway to getting a permanent residence as well as naturalizing in a short period of time. For those who don't know, if you're a researcher, if you're an administrator, you're a scientist, you can apply for the permanent residency in Brazil as well as naturalize after 2 years. So I'm going to take you throughout the whole process. This is an ongoing process from birth. If you watch this video after the deadline of the application, don't worry because this happens every year. I'm going to leave the link to this website in the description section. You want to rush now to apply for that if you watch this video before the 13th of November. This program is called GCUB International Mobility Program. So it's like GCUB-Mob. That's how it's been called. And now they're calling for applications for people that want to study in the year 2023. This is an international cooperation group of Brazilian universities, GCUB, which is formed by renowned Brazilian universities that have decided to continue its traditional scholarship program for foreign students interested in pursuing master's or doctorate in Brazilian programs duly accredited by the Brazilian Ministry of Education, MAC, and offered by Brazilian universities associated to GCUB. However, in 2023, for the very first time, it will do so in an expanded form, supporting students from the 5 continents. All right, so this is a very good program. You want to check it out. So about the initiatives of this program, it is a non-profit civil association of private rights established in October 29, 2008 with an unlimited duration and academic, scientific and cultural goals, composed of network of 92 Brazilian institutions of higher education. Its institutional mission is to develop academic, scientific and cultural relations among the associated institutions through programs, projects and actions associated with international cooperation. These activities are executed in collaboration with international organizations, foreign universities, university networks and government bodies in large numbers of countries. So the general provision, this call is intended to regulate the selection of candidates for the distribution of scholarship offered by Brazilian universities associated with GCUB within the framework of the GCUB International Mobility Program. The candidate must pursue the master's or doctorate program for which he or she was selected, and after a successful completion of all the tests and other academic requirements and formalities of the program which he or she is linked, she will receive a master or doctorate degree from the host country. The title obtained will have official validity in the Federal Republic of Brazil. The diploma recognition procedure in all the countries are the responsibility of the interested party, and the GCUB, the universities and institutions associated with the program, cannot guarantee or assume responsibilities regarding related procedures. This scholarship awarded is in accordance with the current Brazilian regulation and legislation and do not establish an employment or commercial relationship between GCUB, the associated institutions and the participants. What is the language of instruction? This is also something that is very good, right? Because the students must observe the language requirements of the graduate programs for which they apply. The information can be found in the table of master's and doctorate degrees in Brazilian universities, so you can check it out. And a lot of them are government universities. You have a handful of them in English, so you don't need Portuguese, or you don't need to be proficient in Portuguese. All right, that is a good part. So you have some English speaking courses or programs in these different universities. And prior to the defense of your thesis, all scholarship holders must at least attest an intermediate level of Portuguese through a certification at the discretion of the university. So that is another advantage, because when you're taking to this program, you have free Portuguese classes. So of course, if you're doing masters in 2 years or for masters, or in 4 years for your PhD, of course you must have been able to speak Portuguese, because this is a pathway to permanent residency. The course calendar depends on the school. There's also a table there that's going to show you the calendar. You can check it out. The duration of the master's and doctorate degree: for masters, it should be up to 24 months, which is 2 years after the start date, and for doctorate degree, it should be up to 4 years, which is 48 months. During the studies in Brazil, each scholarship holder will receive the following benefits. For the first benefit, exemption of tuition fee. So you don't need to pay tuition fee, and monthly or academic fees related to course of the graduate program at the host universities for which the scholarship is selected. Number 2, you have a scholarship. For masters, you have like a monthly stipend. There's the price there, you can check it out. But it's really good. As well as doctorate, you're gonna have this monthly stipend for up to 48 months. I tell you, it is reasonable, especially if you're single. You can live on this stipend and still save. In order to receive disbursement of any of the above mentioned benefits, the scholarship recipient must report to the Brazilian university and follow the International Mobility Program instructions regarding their registration process. Open a bank account, produce the documents required by the Brazilian government, present proof of insurance with full medical lab testing and hospital coverage valid in the entire Brazilian territory, and present proof of regular status before the Brazilian immigration authorities and authorized to enroll the university studies. For example, your passport with temporary visa and your protocol of submission of migration to the police to the resident permit. All right. The scholarship recipient must send all the necessary documentation to GCUB within 45 days after their enrollment at the university. He or she will risk losing their scholarship if this is not done. D, access to university restaurants, if any, under the same conditions as any other student at the host university. E, access to classes, classrooms, library, laboratories, and other university services under the same condition as any other student at the host university. Come on now. Let's look at the application requirements, all right? So for the application requirements, A, you have to fill in the scholarship application. It's in Portuguese, it's in English and Spanish, which is good. B, you must hold a citizenship or permanent residency in any state that maintains the diplomatic relations with Brazil, so any other country out of Brazil. C, you should not be a Brazilian. D, you should not possess the migratory status of residency in Brazil. So it's a no for me. I was really interested in this program, but I can apply for it because I have a permanent residence. So if you have a permanent residency or you have a temporary residency, you can apply for this program, okay? You shouldn't have a residency in Brazil. And E, you should be of good health, physical and mental, to undertake and successfully conclude your graduate studies. F, you should be able to fund additional financial resources to afford the expenses not covered by the scholarship. For example, the airfare, the visa fees, international health insurance for the entire duration of studies, additional living expenses that exceeds the amount that is described in the stipend. All right. So it is up to you. If you want to leave large or you want to leave, more than the amount that's given to you. So you should provide that. Now, G, you have to indicate the degree for which you're applying for, be it master's or doctorate. H, you have to apply for up to 5 master's or doctorate programs from different universities, preferable from different regions of Brazil, which is also good, right? So this is like a joint application. You can apply to 5 different universities, which also means that you have 5 other options of being taken, all right? And maybe it might be taken for all, or you can be taken for 1 out of the 5, which is good. And then next one, you have to present relevant diplomas in case of doctorate degrees, and is going to be verified, of course. Now, the next thing is the documentations for application. The first one is for application of master's or doctorate programs, you must include the following. First is the scholarship application form online. Then you have a copy of your identity document, which is your maybe passport or ID card and so on. C, you need to write a curriculum vitae. This is also something which is very important because you need to make sure your curriculum vitae is good. No need to include proof of courses master's or experience in the time of application. Such documents may be requested by the general coordinators of the program at any time. So you want to put your CV, make sure your CV is just straight to the point. In Brazil, it is always good to have, like, if your CV could be all summarized in one page, is going to be good. Now the next thing is academic record from the University of Studies. For masters, of course, you should have an undergraduate degree, and for doctorate you should have like master's degree. Or you need to write an essay. For you to write the essay, there are many things you need to follow. The instructions are there. So for each of the programs, you need to submit 2 essays. All right. So if you're applying for 5 different programs or 5 different universities, then you need to submit 5 different essays. But it's good to look for one program. For example, in all the universities, I can look for engineering, so that you just change only the name of the university, but it's still the same program. All right. Essay number 1 should be academic expectation and interest and professional expectation and prospects upon return to the country of origin, 1,000 words at least. Essay 2 is justification of the program selected, central theme and research problem. Then you have justification of the objective of study and the biographical review, methodological process, timeline, and bibliographical references. All right, maximum 4,000 words. All right. For university professors, you need to prove of a permanent binding contract with institution of higher education when applicable. So there are things that you need to note as well. So for the first one, you need to note the initial proposals submitted by the candidates at the time of registration are subject to evaluation and may be modified or replaced depending on their adherence to the research areas and the conditions of acceptability in the course. Note number 2, if the student is selected for the scholarship and if required by the host universities, he or she may be needed to present the documents mentioned in section 4, which must be officially translated to Portuguese. And I've done a video on how to translate a document to Portuguese that's going to be used legally here, so you want to check it out. All right, I'm also going to put it in the description section, except for original documents that are already in Portuguese, English, French, and Spanish. So that's also a good one. If your document is in English, then that is fine. The next one is application for scholarship is free. It's personal, it's non-transferable, and must be completed online. They're encouraging applicants to submit the application as early as possible. I'm just going to put all of this in the description section. You want to check it out and look at all of this thing. Now there's a process. There's an application selection process. First phase of the selection will be carried out by GCUB after you have done the application online. The second phase of selection is going to be examination of merit and admissibility by the university. Is the responsibility of the coordinators of the master's and doctorate programs from Brazilian universities associated with GCUB. The third phase of the selection process, selection and final distribution of approved candidates in previous phases, will be executed by an advisory evaluation commission composed by the PhD professors of GCUB associated universities named by executive board of GCUB. All right, so you're going to go through it. There's a first phase, second phase, all of them are being listed, and there's a third phase. So you want to check all of that out. And after that, there's a selection result, and the selection result is going to be announced on the website, so you want to check it from time to time. Selected applicants will be contacted by GCUB through email address indicated in the application form to be informed about the university and the study program to which they are offered a scholarship under this program. In case of any declination, the GCUB will contact the students as well according to the classification published by that evaluation committee. After that you've been taken, you're going to have an acceptance letter which you need to choose which one. If you're taking for all, you need to choose the one that you want to continue. Then you also have the student duties and responsibilities. That's after you have been selected. All of that you can check on the website. I want to talk about the calendar now. All right, so if you want to apply for now against 2023, the dates are being stated here. October 26th, there was a publication for call of applications, but I only got a hold to this a few days ago, so I decided to make this video. Right, it started on October 31st for the online registration, and it's going to run until November 13th. All right, that's a closing date. Phase 1 is going to be 16 to 23 November. Phase 2 is going to be 28 to 11 December. Phase 3 is going to be 12 to 16 December. And then after that, approval of candidates will be done 20th to 21st of December. They're going to do the publication of the results on the 23rd of December. I think I've given more than enough of the information, but this is really good, right? Just imagine if you finish studying all of this and then you can speak Portuguese, then you apply for your permanent residency. This is a good pathway to citizenship. There are more than 450 plus scholarships under this, from a student to a permanent resident to a citizen of Brazil. Watching me right now and you want to study master's or PhD for free, then you want to go ahead to access the link and apply for this. But if you watch me after this video, then you want to prepare hard and put everything in place and study the website very well, and you apply next year for this program. If you're having a hard time applying for a visa, or if you're having a hard time applying for your baby's birth certificate in Brazil, or your baby's Brazilian passport, or you're having a hard time applying for permanent residency, or you're in Brazil and you don't know where to visit, GM Consultancy carries out the services. All right, I'm also going to leave the link in the description section. With that being said, if you haven't watched me until now, you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, and make sure you like, share, and you hit the notification bell so that you get updated each time I upload videos about Brazil. Ciao.